Dear members and friends, we would like to thank you for joining us today. It is an honor to be hosting the esteemed Deputy Minister to the President on Research, Innovation and Digital Policy since March 2021, Mr. Kyriacos Kokkinos. As is evident, the COVID-19 crisis has created unique challenges not only for the private sector, but for the state as well. And it is in these times of crisis that one transforms or withers away. The Deputy Ministry under Mr. Kokkinos has exhibited agility, achieving stated aims in record time when comparing to past government implementation speeds, and wants to completely transform how the Cyprus government carries out its service to citizens. As such, to help us unlock our future, as the Minister says, the Deputy Minister will be outlining the government's digital transformation policy. The event is hosted by the Cyprus International Businesses Association, better known as CIBA. Our association has been active since 1992 as a private entity, having been created by foreign business expats living in Cyprus and defined as the strategic, influential voice representing international businesses in Cyprus. It actively represents fully fledged member companies that have mainly international presence and operations in Cyprus, and acts as a hub linking these companies to supporting Cypriot companies. Today, we help our members on any questions that they may have in relation to government policies and issues faced with various government departments, as well as other operational matters, and advocate on specific issues affecting the international business community. Through our events, we aim to provide a networking platform which our member companies can leverage. We provide education opportunities for our members with partnerships with institutions as well as industry experts. A few words about the Deputy Minister. The Deputy Minister previously served as the Chief Scientist for Research Innovation of the Republic of Cyprus, Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Research and Innovation Foundation, and member of the National Board of Research and Innovation. He's a distinguished professional with 30 years of experience in executive management, technology, and business consulting, served at senior executive roles in global corporations such as IBM Europe, where he was executive director and partner, and PwC. He also served at the board of directors of many organizations, including Invest Cyprus, which is the Cyprus Investment Promotion Agency, CIPA, the Cyprus Tourism Organisation, the Cyprus Port Authority, and the Board of Trustees of the Cyprus Institute. He is the recipient of numerous awards and recognitions for professional excellence, including the Business Leader of the Year Award 2016 by the Cyprus Chamber of Commerce and the Quality Leader 2015 by the Cyprus Quality Association. His academic qualifications include Executive MBA in Strategic Management from Henley Management College, as well as his MSc and BSc in Electrical Engineering from New Jersey Institute of Technology. Now, before passing you on to the Deputy Minister, I would like to reiterate our protocol for our webinar today. Please, microphones stay muted. There will be a Q&A session at the end, and questions can be submitted by our chat function. And in the event that we exceed our time, we will forward all submitted questions to the Deputy Minister, who can answer them, and we can then circulate to all attendees as a Q&A document. So without further ado, let me pass you over to Mr. Kokkinos for the main part of our event. Mr. Deputy Minister.
Dear Chairman, distinguished guests, thank you for this invitation, this webinar initiative, because it gives me the opportunity to share with you our vision, our mission as a new ministry, and how we collaborate with the business community as well as the citizens for achieving what we are mandated to do. The title of this presentation that I will share with you in 10-15 minutes so that we leave time for discussion, question and answers. But I would like to set the scene on what it's all about. And we gave a title, Shaping Our Digital Future. But allow me to delete the word digital. I think that Shaping Our Future should be the title. Digital is just an enabler. Inevitably, our future has a strong digital element. So let me start, if we can move to the next slide, by sharing with you what is our vision as a new ministry. And this is encompassed in a very simple paragraph, a very simple statement that we believe is quite comprehensive. Our vision is to build a knowledge-based digital economy and society supported by modern and reliable structures and driven by innovation, research, and technological advancement. Through this way, and these are the three main outcomes that we aspire, is economic growth and sustainability of the country, social welfare and prosperity, and competitiveness of our country at global scale. It's very important that we are a technology ministry, yes, but our vision and our mandate is rooted on competitiveness and social prosperity. And this resonates very much with your, as CIBA, direction and texture of your existence. So, moving from our vision statement, I would like to share with you our mission statement. What is the purpose of our existence? Our job is to enhance on a continuous improvement basis through an agile approach the quality of life of our citizens through technology exploitation, as well as the overall citizen and business experience throughout all their interactions and touch points with the public sector. This is very important. Our purpose is to be essential to the country, its citizens, and its businesses. Now, you might say, okay, that sounds like a jargon that it needs to be substantiated and fleshed up with specific actions. So let's take for a moment the helicopter view and see what are the challenges, not of Cyprus, but the global challenges. And Cyprus is part of this globalized economy, and it's a very small country, but it's an integral part of the European Union. It's an integral part of Western societies. And in that change, if we move to the next slide, let's see, no, to the next, the one before that. Oh, okay. Can you move? Okay, this one. Okay. Let's see what is driving change. Let's think for a moment, what are the implications of aging population? How can we ensure that the average age of 90, now we are at 82, 83, but by the time we will be in 20 years' time, we expect the average to be 90. How can we ensure that the quality of life, the healthcare system, the well-being of, and also the social and economic implications, how can the working population sustain and support the aging population of the 90s? This is a huge challenge. It's a huge challenge for that calls for reforms across all levels. Reforms on the social security and pension systems, on the economic structures and the economic models of every country, the healthcare sector, huge implications. Another challenge is the shift of economic power. I know that the figure that you see on this chart reminds you of someone. Yes, it's a tug of war between the United States and China. And Europe is trying to, protect its existence, standing in the middle of two giants getting into an economic war. Who has the economic power? Then we see the shifting of populations, the immigration challenges, the climate change, and last but not least, that we experienced in the past 7 months, the COVID, the pandemic, this pandemic. So these global challenges, okay, we need to understand how we go about it. You see, technology is not here to put solutions into the market for the sake of just driving technology. Technology is here as an enabler to solve the kind of problems that I've just described, like climate change, energy, migration and immigration challenges that we have, aging population, and last but not least, the pandemic, which is the new element that entered in a forceful way into our lives. If we can go to the next slide, please. So, can technology help on that? Well, I picked a slide from a publication of McKinsey, which is quite recent. What is the link between technology and social welfare? Let's define what is social welfare. What do we need as citizens or as businesses? We need job security, material living standards, okay, education, healthcare, equal opportunities, environmental sustainability. Now, what are the technology enablers that have an impact? What is the relationship, the potential impact of technology onto each one of these aspects? And the deep dark color means high impact, white means low impact. Data and analytics, deep impact on healthcare, equal opportunities, environmental sustainability, connectivity and platforms like Internet of Things, blockchain, 5G, all these, they have impact on every single aspect of social welfare, job security to environmental sustainability. And then it's robotics. And then we have the Internet of Things and digital fabrication and new materials and clean tech and all these. So we see that technology exists to have an impact on our social welfare or on our well-being. If we can move to the next slide. So this ministry has been assigned for just doing exactly this thing: e-government and digital policy and electronic communication and cyber security, and also some key enablers. So far, until the creation of this ministry that started on March 1st this year, digital policy was an orphan. I mean, it was fragmented under various ministries. The in-government, for example, was under the Ministry of Finance in a department called Department of Information Technology Services. The connectivity and telecoms was in the Ministry of Transport, in the Department of Digital and Electronic Communication. There was no strategic function. So this ministry is orchestrating all this under one umbrella. These departments, these people have been all shifted. The team of about 300 people have been shifted under my ministry. And I have been trusted by the President of the Republic to run this ministry as of March 1st. So on the in-government side, we need to optimize the public sector internal operations and citizen service model and provide end-to-end user-friendly quality digital services to businesses and citizens. In terms of technology that we will use for that, we need to develop the usage the development and usage of new technology. For example, so far, there is no data scientist in my team. There is no artificial intelligence department. There is no blockchain dedicated team. We're building all this now. There is no 3D printing or Internet of Things connectivity or mobile computing or user experience. All these professions that are essential for in-government transportation, but also for the national digital transformation at national scale, not just at government dimension. And then we have the electronic communication, like the National Broadband Plan. You know that we have the most expensive internet connectivity at the slowest speed. Unfortunately, this is the situation today. So high penetration of quality fiber-based broadband services is key. Rollout of 5G, we've just announced 2 days ago that we are going out tendering for the licensing of 5G, and the first services of 5G will be made available in 2021. Satellite communication and space applications is extremely important domain, very promising, very important for the surveillance, etc., earth surveillance. And of course, all these as we open up to the world. Yeah. As we open up our economy towards the digital world, we need to put higher standards of cybersecurity and business continuity and resilience. So if we move to the next slide. Next slide, please. Okay. During the first 4 months of our ministry existence, unfortunately or fortunately, we had to focus on coping with the COVID era. And that implied continuity of government operations and services, mitigation of socio-economic impacts using technology, public health crisis interventions, and interactions between the state and the citizens and businesses. In practical terms, in a forceful way, very forceful way, we entered into a crisis management situation where we had to develop applications, simple applications like the not welcomed at all 8998 SMS platform for mitigating and controlling the lockdown situation. We had to develop in a matter of weeks a platform that otherwise it would have taken at least 2 years to develop. And we developed this in 2.5 weeks. That was the platform for payment of the funds to the eligible citizens because of the lockdown, like the shutdown, the total or partial shutdown of a business, or allowances and funds to citizens because of they had to stay at home to take care of their kids. All these funds that were about 220,000 eligible citizens, there was no platform for that. And you understand, you have to submit the platform online. It has to be validated if you are eligible, then make a calculation of how much money, depending on your social security and salary situation. The profile of each eligible was different, and then electronically secure the payment. Until that point, all this was done manually. So you had to fill in a form with a paper and a pen, take it to the ministry, and this would have gone through a workflow of a manual process for assessment and then payment by check at your home. This was the way that we have been managing any other funds in the past, but it was impossible to manage 220,000 applications in a week time in a manual process. So we worked on that. We also managed to develop applications during the crisis management under the crisis management situation for the registration of the army, the soldiers, the 18-year-old male that are presenting themselves to these days to the army. They didn't have to go to the military offices, the district military offices for filling in the form manually. That was done electronically. The Cyprus Flight Pass, about 65,000 visitors to Cyprus since June 9th have been visiting Cyprus, and every single one of them has to electronically apply and get approval for being given the green light or getting a rejection, depending on the compliance of the protocols that are valid from the country. So Cyprus Flight Pass was another example. We can give you quite a few examples. So this was during the COVID era. And our approach was that we need to give under an emergency and crisis approach citizen-centric services that will ease the life of our citizens and businesses, like teleworking, teleeducation, etc. About 6,500 employees in the public sector have been enabled to work remotely, something that was unthinkable in the past. Or in a very timely manner, we passed the law for board of directors in the public sector to be able to meet through video conferencing, and their decisions and the meetings to be valid meetings. Now, what do we do now? Now we have the time, and we are doing a holistic digital transformation blueprint. That will, the aim of this digital transformation blueprint is for the economy restart, and is the doing business and enhance our business-friendly posture locally and internationally. That is leading us to a new economic pillar, which is around digital transformation. And also this is a prerequisite so that we are better prepared if a pandemic is relapsing and resumes again, hopefully not at the scale that we've experienced in March. We need to be ready, and digital is an essential component of our social and business continuity plan. If we can go to the next slide. So what we have done is that we took a two-dimensional approach. We compiled what are the citizen or business services that we need to provide the citizens in the next 18 months. And we accounted for 164 services that are manual today, and we will convert them into digital. Some of them are complex, some of them are low complexity. Those that are low complexity, they have been mapped based on low, medium, high complexity and low, medium, high impact. So low complexity, high impact are having a priority. Medium complexity, high impact are having second priority, but they are on the pipeline. When we say low complexity, that means that these applications, these digital services, can be made available to the citizens in a matter of 2 to 4 weeks. Medium complexity is 4 to 8 weeks. High complexity is 7 to 12 weeks. These are microservices. We don't want to wait for the big projects, transformation projects, like the tax department that we are just working on a program of 3-year transformation. So the long-term planning is our second dimension, but we cannot wait for these mega projects that have a horizon of 2 to 5 years, and their total value is around 300 million. These are very specific projects that I will elaborate further on the next slide. So we're working in parallel on both. So microservices, the digitalization of 160 plus vital public services, and will be done through what I call the Digital Services Factory. We are setting up a team that will start producing the production of these 160 services. There are prerequisites for that, like the e-signature, the e-electronic authentication of the citizens, and of course, there are also some interim solutions that we're working, like the e-justice solution for the legal system, because we have a big project on the e-justice. This project is estimated that will be up and running in 2023, 2024. And I said we cannot wait to have a basic functionality of e-justice by 2024. Let's start small and do a mini project of e-justice, and this will be operational in the next 4 months. Next slide, please. I think that the benefits are well understood by all. I mean, continuity, 24/7 quality service to all businesses and citizens, ease of doing business, speed, efficiency, security, time and cost effectiveness and efficiency for both the public and private sector, and operational efficiency. Flexibility and safety, no need for physical presence. This has direct and indirect benefits. Direct benefit is impact on the time that I have to go to a citizen service center to do something that can be done electronically, but then you have the indirect benefits like pollution, traffic, etc. All this leads to productivity, efficiency for both public and private sector, and also it builds a trust between the citizens and the government for larger corporations. For all corporations and citizens. Next slide, please. So, long-term planning, as I said, some projects is the 50 million project of the National Health Information System, the school management system, which is a 16 million project that will be announced within the month. It will be procured, the justice system that I've described, but also we need to upgrade some of the existing systems, like we need to come up with a smart queuing system for the citizen service centers, new systems for the tax department, registers of company, customs, excise, town planning, housing department and land registry, and also we need to drastically revamp the Ariadne portal, which is not user-friendly and is not rich in functionality, and it's a bit slow. In fact, my plan is to even rename the Ariadne portal to be just government portal. Next slide, please. So our journey is a continuous journey that it's a digital transformation. It has a start, but it does not have an end, because we will always be on this journey. It's a transformation project with specific milestones, with specific deliverables on a two-speed approach, as I said before, that we need to work in parallel. 160 microservices is on one side. On the other side, we have the mega projects, 300 million euro in total, that we are working in parallel. Prior to the pandemic, when I assumed this role, my idea, my focus was to just work on the 300 million euro project. But then I realized when I entered the role that I cannot wait for 3 years to reap the benefits of digital transformation. And there are some low-hanging fruits that I can provide and make them available to the citizens immediately and the businesses. So we compiled a list of 164 services, and we're working on these, I call them microservices, that will be developed through the Digital Services Factory. Next slide, please. So what is our challenge, our biggest challenge? I think that systems-wise, technology-wise is the easy part. The difficult part is the innovation culture, and for developing a totally different, transformed, reformed, knowledge-based economy driven by digital and research-oriented mindset. And I didn't emphasize the word research before, because research is the foundation of everything, scientific research that can be translated into innovation, and innovation into solutions. That's all from my side in terms of presentation. Now I am open for discussions. Ναι. Δεν σας ακούω.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Minister. I think we can hear some questions through the chat up function if anybody would want to ask. However, I think one issue that is really relevant to all the international businesses relates to the immigration procedures, to the civil registry and immigration department. What are the initiatives there?
Okay. About 7 out of the 164 services, and these, some of them are low complexity, high impact, some of them are medium complexity, high impact, and there is one that is high complexity, high impact, but they are all high impact, is the full transformation of the way of that immigration is managing its applications. Not just electronic submission, but a holistic approach with a workflow engine at the back, so that it's user-friendly, it's complete, it's comprehensive, and the citizen or the applicant has a full visibility of the stage that his or her application is standing, with KPIs and reminders and statistics. If there is a delay, and you will know which officer, which office is causing the delay, or contact them. And in parallel, we are setting up a contact center just for this service, so that you can have, I say contact center and not call center, because a contact center it has phone communication, email, and the chat room. The difficult part of this is the update of the civil registry. This is the most challenging part, but I cannot wait for 1.5 years. That is how much time I need to fix the civil registry database. It will be done gradually, but the immigration online application will be provided within the year, I hope. Especially the applications for the naturalization.
Okay. Do we have any other questions from attendees? I think there is a new message here. Has there been any resistance from the civil service or other stakeholders as a result of the planned changes due to the impact on working practices and other interests? Very good question, Petros.
Okay. The good news and the bad news, but the bad news are not unexpected. The good news is that at political level, at ministerial council, and at the attention of the President of the Republic, I have full support of what I'm trying to do. Well, I am assigned to do, not trying. It's not a matter of trying. I am assigned. That's my job. And also, I have a very good team of professionals that some of them are extremely competent and capable to help me out. in order to be successful on this monumental task, especially because I'm working on a two-speed approach, the 160 services in parallel to managing some mega projects of more than 300 million euros, is that I can rely heavily on the private sector. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm trying to bring together the public sector, my 300 employees, plus some new hires, to be complemented and to work as one team with the private sector. So far, I didn't find any resistance on that. Nevertheless, the negative thing, there is resistance to change at departmental level from the various ministries because they do not all share or understand what it's all about, this transformation. But this is expected, and you need to budget time and courage and money to address this. This is the most difficult aspect, okay? And another difficulty I have is there are very specific competencies that are missing from the public sector, like project management. How can you deliver mega projects of 50 and 30 and 10 million if you don't have certified project managers? And even other ministries, and this is something that I brought to the attention of the president this week, when we had some review on all government projects, not just the IT, but roads, hospitals, schools, and everything is delayed. And I said, look, without project managers, I mean, you just pick a good civil servant who is not trained and not certified to be a project manager, and you tell him, go take this contract that we signed with this company and go and do it. But he's not a project manager, or she's not a project manager. So project management is one competency that is missing, not just in my ministry, but across all ministries. And I will have a meeting with the Minister of Finance on Monday next week to institutionalize project management, not just in my ministry, but across the whole government. We do not have new technology specialists like data sciences, business analytics, mobile solutions, solutions on this, which is a specialized knowledge, user experience, design thinking methodology, agile methodology, all these new goodies, which are essential components for making a digital transformation, are missing. And even in the private sector, these things are missing. So this is one of my key challenges. So, and I dare to say that I am concerned about these competencies, the absence of these competencies. It's more of a concern to me compared to the cultural, because the cultural is something that I was expecting, but not being able to find, hire, or use without this. It's like, you're putting me in an operations room in a hospital, and I don't have the tools to do the operation. So this is my biggest challenge. How can I develop these skills in such a short period of time? And to be honest with you now, I'm trying to bring people from abroad, okay, to buy them as a service from international companies from abroad, and in parallel work on a skills on an upskilling program, or hires to put next to them for learn on the job learning.
Clear. There is a question with regards to 5G implementation. From what I see here in the UK, they are doing further steps. What is the approach here in Cyprus?
Well, 5G will be licensed within the year. This is a decision that is already rolling, okay? And we are very careful on the concerns, although these concerns are not substantiated, scientifically substantiated around the health aspects of rolling out of 5G. But these concerns are honestly, I mean, the question is not 5G or 4G. The question is mobile communication or no mobile communication, because 4G and 3G are also at the same level, even a bit higher, in Greek we call it mi ionizus actinovolia, the radiation.
Yes.
Is valid on every device, and not just on mobile communication, but also on TV and radio.
Yeah.
So there are specific compliance standards, there are specific directions and safety levels of radiation that needs to be continuously monitored. And these are standards and levels are being defined by the World Health Organization and the European Union. So I don't think that Cyprus can stay out of the 5G. We just have to mitigate and give the proper answers to the people that are concerned. You know, some people, they say, oh yeah, we have to go to 5G because this is we will pay penalty to the European Commission if we don't go. No, that's not the reason. We have to go because we cannot be left behind technologically. We cannot have a digital transformation by having connectivity of 3G and 4G when everybody else will be on 5G and 6G.
Clear. There's a question about the transformation of the registrar's online submission system. Where do we stand on that?
There is a project in progress. Proposals have been submitted and they are under evaluation. Unfortunately, and this is a curse in every public sector procurement project, there is a delay, a severe delay of this application, of this evaluation. We expect that this will be completed within the year and will be made available within the next 2 years. And there are two projects on the registrar's office. One is the online application, the enhancement, because there is online application now, okay, but we will have to revamp this and enrich this. And the other is the scanning and the digitization of the paper files of the civil registry. This contract the evaluation has been completed, then the implementation will start in September this year.
Okay, good. I think a comment from Stefan really reflects the challenges that you have when it comes to digital transformation, and he wishes you good luck. And now from Kyriacos, these 160 plus microservices will be developed by government employees. What kind of technology is or will be used?
Okay, the Digital Services Factory, as I call it, the ministry will define the standards and the technology layers, okay, starting from the look and feel and the user experience and going all the way towards the data governance and the application standards and the APIs and all this kind of design will be done by the ministry. The implementation, though, will be assigned to the private sector through frame agreements that I will procure, and I hope that I will secure contracts with the private sector that they will undertake. We do not have the capacity, the bandwidth, but also in some aspects the knowledge and the mentality to do them internally. I will just maintain the governance and the architectural design of this Digital Services Factory, but I will rely on the private sector.
Okay, clear.
Otherwise, it will be very slow and it will be mission impossible, let's put it this way.
Yes. Here we have a comment from our president, Mrs. Doxia Nigia Hadjivasili, who welcomes you to the webinar and was listening in. She says that we believe that digital can have a transformative impact, and we welcome the government's timely digital strategy, which ensures that the benefits are spread across the country. And we also need to welcome new businesses in Cyprus who can contribute to this and assist in such transformations. So incentives in this sector would be very welcome, as it would be a way to also attract new businesses here in Cyprus, which really lays a very good question here. Are there any barriers to attracting talent and businesses of this sector here in Cyprus? And what are the steps that you think that Cyprus should be taking to attracting businesses and talent?
Yeah, very good question. I mean, we have to see the digital transformation in two aspects, in two dimensions. One is digital transformation for our organic use, for our country, for our businesses, for our public sector. This is extremely important. In parallel, we need to attract foreign direct investment, foreign companies. Hopefully, some of them, and we don't need a lot at the beginning, high visibility conglomerates like Google and IBM and Oracle and Microsoft to have operations here for research and development, not necessarily for, not just as a sales office for the Cyprus government, for the Cyprus market, but as an operation for regional or global operations. That is extremely important because it will create an osmosis. It's not just a foreign direct investment that will give a few jobs to locals and also will put Cyprus in the map of international businesses in the technology sector. It is also the osmosis that will create with the local ecosystem, because today there is a huge shortage of high caliber digital professionals. And when I say this, let me clarify. You might find people that have been, studying computer science, for example, and they are not working. They're looking for a job. It's because their skills profile, their degree, and their understanding of IT is different from what the market needs. In Limassol alone, I know that there are about 8,000 IT professionals, foreigners, just to fulfill the gap. Why? Because, and we might have 500 IT professionals in Cypriots that are underutilized or underemployed. Yeah. Why? Because their skills set is not compatible with what the market needs. If I bring these companies, then the osmosis, they will come apart in terms of learning opportunities and learning portfolio. So my focus is, and I am closely collaborating with the government of Israel and the US Embassy to attract and I am willing to offer specific incentives to these companies. We need to do our sales pitch. No, we need to build our sales language and then go and do targeted, not just the CIPA. I've been in the board of directors of CIPA for many years, CIPA with P, okay? I think that we need to revisit our approach on how we attract foreign direct investment, at least for this sector. You need the right instrument to establish a direct conversation at C-level, CEO level, CFO level, board of directors level of these big companies and make a straight talk with them. We want you to be in Cyprus. What is the condition? This is what we can offer. What are we missing? Why do you go to Israel and not in Cyprus? Why do you go to Poland? Why do you go to Romania? We have a lot to offer. We just need to polish up our sales kit.
Yes. And another comment from our president: success in attracting foreign investment in digital infrastructure can significantly benefit local companies, especially small and medium-sized enterprises here. And I think that refers also to the osmosis part that you have been mentioning. Mm-hmm. With regards to talent, we do have EU nationals working in the in the IT sector, but we also have third country nationals working in the sector, and they face specific challenges when it comes to renewing their visas, or, for example, their spouses that also want to work. Has there been any discussions on these issues that these companies face?
It's something that I've started discussing with the Minister of Finance and Mr. George Pandelis, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, about 3 months ago, with specific actions and things to consider. But to be honest with you, and this is something on my to-do list, is I didn't manage yet to bring it forward because everything has been overshadowed by our crisis management. So now that you bring it up, I will bring it at a higher priority on my to-do list and start working on it. But let's be honest, it's a known problem or a known challenge.
Yes.
If we want to be competitive in this domain, I'm coming from the private sector, as most of you, as you have described before. I know very well the challenges, and I believe that this needs to be addressed, and we are determined to find the right ingredients to polish up our business-friendly and proposition to foreign direct investments.
Good. Are there any other questions from attendees? I think I'll give around half a minute or so. I mean, from our side, as the Cyprus International Businesses Association, we would like to thank you for your time. It is very important for us that the government and you who are representing the innovation part of policy have been here to present to us the thoughts and initiatives of the government. And we really look forward not only to other events, but also to having fruitful discussions and sharing the problems that we face, so that whatever problems are apparent are solved and are not a barrier to development. Okay.
From my side, I would like to once again thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts, our vision, and our plans. You are doing a great job as CIBA. I know you for years, and I've been collaborating with you under different hats. My door is open. If you want to see me with a specific agenda and suggestions and propositions to put on the table, I'm very much open to listen to you. So once again, thank you for this, I hope for you, valuable webinar, and looking forward to continuing our conversation.
Mr. Deputy Minister, on behalf of the President of the Executive Committee of the Association, as well as our member companies and our non-member friends who are attending, thank you very much for this very valuable webinar.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.